So, I took a mock test and I got the 555. Now, this was my first ever exposure even to the GMAT, right? So I was like, okay, fine, 555, whatever. Like, this is a journey for me to go on. And I started self-studying and I used some other various resources and I still got a 555. That day was a very bad day for me. Was super upset. I was like, I spent 4 months studying on my own and I couldn't crack it. At that point is when I realized that I need a coach, I need a mentor. Something is going wrong here because it's like that Einstein quote, right? To do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result is insanity. I was like, something's got to change. That's when actually I came across your video on YouTube when I was just searching for, how to learn GMAT, how to ace GMAT. And you said this video in quant specifically, which quant was one of my weak areas. And as an engineer, it was even more an ego hit that like, what am I doing? I can't do quant. And you talk about your methodical approach to learning quant, right? Learning those core concept skills, the process skills. Yeah, the process skills. You learn those process skills and then you cement. And you cement that same day that you're learning these concepts and the process skills. And honestly, that changed the game, right? Because my approach to problems started getting much better. I stopped looking at the GMAT as some ego or like, I need to do well on this test just because I'm an engineer. All of that went away. And it was like, let me learn how to approach these questions for the sake of being a good problem solver. That changed the game because the reason I could get a Q90 is because every single quant problem I approached with the same process skills that I learned by repeatedly month after month seeing those skills. And so by the time I'm handling a quant question, even if I don't really know how to do it, or I'm like, your pressure, right? There's time pressure. You want to nail the score. I was like, it's fine. I've seen the video. Let's start from scratch and go through it. And I think that was the secret to the Q90.
Congrats to you, Anirudh. A massive 210-point improvement to a 765 GMAT score. Perfect 100 percentile with a Q90, a V90, and a D84. You must be ecstatic.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Definitely very excited, very happy, honestly relieved. Don't have to get up in the morning and study GMAT anymore. So to be like completely honest, and I believe me, I've seen hundreds of these interviews before, and I used to think, wow, well, they're a genius and they just walk in and say, I got this score. Like I sucked at the GMAT last August, exactly a year ago. And when I saw this score, I was crying in disbelief.
You started off with a score closer to around a 400.
So the biggest challenge was a mindset challenge. What used to happen in my life in general also, I used to get easily over the easy problems in my life. But as the problems used to grow harder, I used to give up. Like the last leg, every time I used to give up in almost all the areas of my life, not just GMAT. I was preparing for CAT and was not able to get a very high score there. So I moved to GMAT because like even the work experience part factored in. In contextualize in terms of GMAT prep, the most important thing becomes that stick with your questions. Do not jump to see the answers of those questions. You know the basics. You have read the basics from your course. Now sit there and try to solve that question, no matter how much time it takes. Because that is where the growth happens. If you simply say spend 5 minutes and do not get the answer and you see the solution, you actually do not grow by that much as you would grow if you spent say 20-30 minutes trying to solve that. There I was very weak in RC. But here, what I realized, like after going through a lot of CR passages, I automatically started finding RC very easy. So probably it was the approach shift or the mindset shift that happened in CR. So basically what I used to do was when I'm reading a paragraph, I am making sure that I understand the major theme of it. The biggest takeaway is momentum. GMAT ultimately comes down to momentum. Say, block your next 3 months, next 100 days for GMAT if you are starting today. Block in the sense that I know we all are working professionals, things come up. But even if there's a hectic day, you have worked for 12 hours, just solve at least one question so that you are in touch with the material. that is of paramount importance. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll be restarting from beginning, which wastes a lot of time effectively.
A huge congratulations on your 735 on the GMAT Focus Edition.
Thanks a lot, Taba. It's really a great achievement after a long journey. Finally,
Yes.
I'm at the score.
Yes,
So
yes.
it feels wonderful.
My GMAT journey, I started my preparation in February. I gave my first initial test on March. I thought that it would be a bit easier, but yeah, it didn't turn out. I got a 625. But the good thing is I could figure out where my mistakes and where my weak point was. So the main thing that struck me out in the initial exam was my time management, of course. So I did before that I didn't took a lot of mocks. I took the official 2 mocks that comes for free, but apart from that, I didn't solve any additional questions from those things. So like not much of them. I did solve, but not much of them, and not considering the timing thing at all. So I figured that the time management is the main issue that I need to figure out how to do it. The thing that was kind of the final piece of my puzzle, that was that master comprehension course that comes at the start of the eGMAT. Like so basically it comes under the verbal section, but it will help you not just in verbal but in all three of them, like all three sections. So the master comprehension. So basically, in a lot of questions, we have a kind of a backstory or a lot of contextual information, and to figure it out, like to understand what it's trying to say, the master comprehension part is really really helpful. Like that's one of the most, like everyone should go through it, because once you, like, half of your job is done if you are able to master it properly. Again, just like master comprehension is the main part in verbal, owning the data set is the main part in DI. Without it, you can't go ahead. Like you have to know how to interpret what the data set is trying to portray, so that you can move ahead with the question. Again, like it seems like a pretty simple thing to say, but yeah, you have to do it. Like, so one thing is, don't so GMAT, don't like any other exam, don't rush into the preparation like with your head first. Like just first figure out like what your strategy should be, what your approach should be, how to tackle, like and then gradually as you move forward, you will see different problems that arises. Like you will find your shortcomings, then tackle them gradually. You don't need to the most thing is keep a strategy with you. Like don't just, like the mistake that I did initially was I didn't figure out the strategy. I just knew that I need to practice verbal and go to the exam. So that obviously that didn't work out. It won't.
Sandipan, who has improved by a massive 130 points to a 755 score with a perfect Q90, a DI 89, and a V 83. Congratulations so much, Sandipan. Sandipan actually finished the quant section with 20 minutes to spare and overall improved quite a bit on verbal and DI time management as well, right? So I think we can safely say, sitting here now, that you've conquered that challenge wholeheartedly.
When you took your first mock, the cold mock score, it was a 635. And the weakest section in that whole mock was data insights, in which you got a 76, right?
So in my first mock where I scored DI 76, I remember I was able to complete only 13-14 questions. And even before giving the first mock, I had heard somewhere that in GMAT, leaving a question give you a way more penalty than wrongly attempting it. So all the questions were remaining. I just selected in the last 1 minute and completed that mock. So I got DI 76. So it was always in my mind that it is a hectic and very lengthy portion.
So how important is to have good set of verbal and quant skills for data insights? What?
I think it's extremely important because when you seriously consider it, DI doesn't involve much of the newer concept. It is the application of the quant and verbal concept. So in TPA verbal question, let's just assume most of the portion is solved by critical reasoning or CR type of question are there. Even in the condition question, it is somewhat based on the CR type of question, and you have practiced CR question more and more in the verbal side of thing. It will definitely help you in getting the hang of a TPA verbal question more easily. Similarly, if you have solved quant religiously, done the whole semantic quizzes, and try to achieve A or A minus score in most of the sections, it will help you in DI sections.
Big congratulations on your 745 and the
Thank
cherry on
you.
the top with a D90. I have to tell that. Yes.
That was an amazing feeling to score the highest marks in that section, which you are weakest in initial diagnostic quiz. So it was a really amazing feeling to get that DI90. Just see it on the screen. It was really a sigh of relief and instant happiness.
You see, the biggest challenge that we all, I believe, professionals face in our GMAT journey is time. We do not get time to prepare because we are working on a job. Someone is working on a 9-hour job. Somewhere working more than that. Especially I in the construction industry, we have no timings for the job. Our job typically starts at 8:30 or 9 a.m. in the morning, and there's no out time, right? We cannot punch out of our jobs, right? We work 24/7 and 365 days in a year. So that's the kind of environment that we have, and especially most others will relate to me when I say that we do not have time. We have to carve out time from our professional life to prepare for exams such as GMAT. I have been there before in the test center before. I have been there with a 655. I have been there with a 675. And in 2016, 2017, I have been there with a 680. I embraced Kaizen in 2021 when I was promoted in my organization to a managerial level post. I embraced Kaizen because my boss introduced me to Kaizen, and small improvements daily in whatever habits you have make you a better human being, right? And in everything there, it will make you excel in your life, your professional journey, your personal journey, and it will make you excel. If you'll get better every day, you'll be best one day, or you'll be better than what you were before, a day before. When you are at 675, you already know all the basic stuff that you need to know. You just want to improve on that. Then the test day, you have to do to the best of your ability. You have to avoid silly mistakes. You have to be vigilant. You have to be cautious, right? And you cannot err on silly mistakes. You cannot let the GMAT take over you by giving you a stressed environment. You just have to be calm and composed, and you have to take the question which is at the screen at that time. At that moment, you have to be focused on that question itself. You cannot think of the question that left your screen a few moments back, or the question that is going to come after that. That's the kind of thought process you have. And when you are 65, you have done all the basic fundamentals. You know all the basic fundamentals of quants or verbal reasoning. You know the basic things, but you need to perform on them, and you have to just put those things into action on the test day.
Congratulations on this amazing 745 score with a V90, a D86, and a Q86. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was great to have such a score. Actually,
It's not magic. It's not genius. I'm definitely not a genius. Like, it's hard work, showing up, and having a good mentor like eGMAT. That's it.
Last
Yes,
thing, there is
please.
no magical formula. There is no magic out there. There is no magical formula. Don't go out in the market looking for some magical formula. There exists none. I have seen that, been there. There is no magical formula. Stick with your basics. Do what you're told. Do it through. That is like the last learning, maybe.
The correct approach and the correct strategy is very important. Like,
Absolutely.
you need to figure out what works best for you.
Don't let your weaker section intimidate you. It's not about the knowledge per se. GMAT is basically a form of reasoning portion, whether it's quant, whether it's DI, whether it's verbal also. It's basically testing your reasoning.
And yes, if you have the right commitment, the right attitude, the right preparations, and you are ready to do it, you have to test yourself to your ability. You can definitely score your dream score on the test day.